Hi, I'm Brian Weldy at the Anthony Hay Cabinet Making Shop, and I wanted to show you a machine that we have here and would have been around in the 18th century, and that's a Treadle lathe. This is a machine we've had around for about 50 years, so it's not original to the period. But what happens is I push down on this treadle and it gets the object spinning. We can adjust a little bit, and it does pretty much what a modern lathe will do. It's just the motor is a little bit different. And if it starts to squeak too much, I'll grab a little bit of this sheep's tallow and take care of that. But let me show you what we're going to do is turn a spindle like this. And the first shape I'm going to create is a pommel separating the square section from this rounded cylinder. And I'll be using a skew. So you can see, so far I've got just a line cut, and now what I'm going to do is take and turn this part into a cylinder here. I'm going to check it for how round it is by putting my finger up to it, and I still got a little bit of flats. What's happening over here, this is fine, it's just the tool was going slightly uphill and it took off the corner, but that's the reason why I'm making these little stop cuts. Eventually I'm going to move the tool rest over to this spot over here, and I'll cut off these fibers. And there we have pretty much the cylinder. And I'll take and move this back over here. there we have it. And I'm going to go back in and I'll round over this pommel. Basically, doing this pommel cut here is like turning a bead. And I'm going to take the skew and just kind of roll that edge. But it's basically a bead, but just hitting the four corners. Over a little bit. And so there we have it. Okay, and next thing what I'm going to do is, with the beads, basically, in this particular exercise, they were 1 inch from here to here and 1 inch from here to here. So what I'm going to do is just put a line in the middle, just really roughly, put where the center part is, and then take my pair of dividers and just visually mark off where the beads and coves are going to be. And that defines the different heights between those two surfaces. So between the where the bead will be and where the cove is going to be. So the next step, what I was doing was finding where the center part of that bead was, and then starting about 1/4 of the way in, a little bit over than that, I'm going to start to roll that bead over. Because if I start right at the middle, I'm going to end up with a Gothic peak. touch that up just a little bit. And then taking the gouge, what I'll do is I'll go through and start to just scoop out that material to create that little cove there. So the action that I'm using with this gouge is basically I got rid of most of the wood just back and forth, but starting on the edge and doing a twisting motion like this. So I'm kind of dropping the handle at an arc and just working to the center, because with turning you just want to work downhill to the grain. And a lot of this is just eyeing it, getting a good idea of how the parts relate to each other. And so, though I haven't been taking any caliper dimensions off of this, having done so many of them, I pretty much have a good idea of how deep these should go in relationship to the top. I'm going to move the tool rest over just a little bit. One particular aspect about using these treadle lathes is that when you start to do detailed work, it's very easy for the machine to slow down. So you have to keep in mind cutting and pedaling at the same time. All right, and so to true everything up a little bit, what we can sometimes do is take a handful of shavings like this and just going over the surface of the piece, we can just start to burnish it a little bit like that. All right. Okay. And these little beads right in here can be a little bit of a challenge. just getting it so that they can knock off the corners slightly without going into material that you want to keep. And you can define that a little bit further here. Right, and there we have it. As you can see, sometimes it's easy when you get this moving to have it going in the wrong direction. And it doesn't take long for you to realize that it's not actually cutting. So this is basically half of it. We can go back in and touch up a few areas, but this gives you an idea of how we would turn this bead and reel design.
If you're interested in learning traditional woodworking with hand tools, visit my website at woodandshop.com, where you'll find free video tutorials, buying guides, workshop tours, and reviews. Make sure you subscribe to receive my regular blog posts and YouTube videos, and don't forget to check out my 10 steps for getting started. Enjoy!